All right. If I just before we get started, I want you to notice you've got new microphones in front of you. They're very sensitive. They pick up even when you're way back, they pick up. So if you have sidebar conversations, it's going to pick you up. And we're trying something new. We're just experimenting with these to see if the sound will be better in the audience. So you turn it on, you'll get a green light. That means it's picking you up. If Matt, you want to explain the rest of it, if you hold it down, push. If you were ready to turn it off, you hold it down for 5 seconds, but you can see how sensitive it is. So I'm just, but we're experimenting with these because some of you have a tendency to talk like this to the side, and the others might get to pick you up where this one does pick you up. So we're going to experiment, see if this will help our situation. Okay, now, Mr. Donner, you can have the floor.
All right. Personnel health and safety meeting come to order. And start with Alderman Ham. We'll start with the roll call.
Jeff Ham,
Steve Blake,
Trevor Vines,
John Hart,
Tom Farmer.
Bill Donner.
and Spencer Cole.
Frank Adams. Okay, we do have a forum. With the statement of FOIA compliance, I affirm that I have not engaged in any discussion, deliberation, or polling regarding any animal on this meeting intended outside of properly noticed or an open meeting in compliance with Arkansas Freedom of Information Act as amended by Act 505 of. All right. Yes, please.
Yes.
Alderman Lee,
Yes.
Alderman Lawrence,
Yes.
Alderman Hart,
Yes.
Alderman Hart, Alderman Donner,
Yes.
Alderman Lee,
Yes.
Alderman Smith, Alderman
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Baptist.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Andy. I'll take approval of the minutes from our August 11th, 2025 meeting.
So move. Second.
Moved and second, all in favor,
Aye.
any opposed? Okay. The next item is our 2026 wage structure. And I'll let Ms. Mandy explain that.
Just notice your wage structure. This out of your booklet. We approve one of these every year around budget time. It just reflects what is included inside the budget that you submit later tonight. There are a couple of changes in there. None of the dollars changed in anyone's ranges. So all that's still completely the same. The only thing was the column that has to do with numbers to say how many numbers of that individual position there are. If you'll notice on the front page, the very last one is a 0. It's because that means that that position is not included in the 2026 budget. There are 3 positions that are budgeted at a half time. They'll show a 1 there, but the monies is only appropriated by half the time. That includes the city engineer. There's a finance HR benefits specialist and a certified vet tech. If you look on the very last page, that is our part-time employees for parks. Due to moving to acres, if you're a part-time employee and you work 80 hours in 3 consecutive months, retirement should have been held out of your check, and the employer should also pay their portion of that as well. So in order to catch that on the front end, we're moving it back to where all part-time employees work 19 hours per week or less. So therefore, it was a bigger need for lifeguards, teachers to have a larger number of those positions didn't change the budget. The budget's the same. But, it did increase the number of sides. So that's the wrap up of that. Again, just to reiterate, the ranges were not one position change. They stayed exactly the same.
Great.
So far.
Bring it to full council. Make a motion to move forward. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, passes. All right. It's, Mandy has tried several occasions to get, information from me. She's got some documentation here where they have made requests over and over, asking for numbers. She hadn't received them yet, but she is trying. So we're kind of on hold until we get some numbers.
Are they just not responding or are they just?
Respond. They're still working on the numbers and they said that they needed to be, once they're completed, they need to be double checked by someone and verified by someone else. They want to make sure before they give us that number, that they're really correct. It is.
But just to be clear, this is on acres and gap.
We have any other business come from the committee? We'll make it,
We don't have the numbers, so I would have thought I would have the numbers today. That's one of the legislation was in your packet, but we don't have the numbers, so. Recommend that this.
any further for committee? We are adjourned. That's it.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna be quite as quick with the finance committee, but I will call the finance committee meeting to order on October 13th. I'd like to call a roll and establish some forms for everyone. Jeff Ham. Steve Blake. Trevor Lyons. Jeff Clark.
Thank you, Spicer.
God, Bob.
Field honor.
Evelyn Reed. And Spencer Cole.
Pappas.
All right, we have forum. Read the statement of FOI compliance. I affirm that I have not engaged in any prohibited discussion, deliberation, or polling regarding any item on this meeting's agenda outside of a properly noticed and open meeting compliance with the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act as amended by Act 505. Ms. Spicer, can you call roll?
Yes, sir. Alderman Baptist?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderwoman Spencer Cole? Yes. Alderwoman Evelyn Reed?
Yes.
Alderman Donner?
Yes.
Alderman Warner? Alderman Hart?
Yes.
Alderman Valance?
Yes.
Yes.
Alderman Meeks?
Yes. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the September 8th meeting. Second. Have a motion in the second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next up would be the August 2025 financials from Mid Utilities. Listen to instructions, but also. So in your packet, there should be a recap. Not going to go over everything on that. It's kind of laid out some balance in the month of August. have any questions, feel free to ask. Couple things I want to point out, revenues over expenses for August were 383,000. Electric and water were both revenues over expenses. Wastewater had expenses over revenues, 677,000. It's primarily due to the big projects that we have out there for wastewater. Once those funds are reclassified, we'll pretty sure wastewater will be positive. When I say reclassified, I mean taken out of expense, put into capital outlay, and depreciated. For our capital outlay, we did have 1.1 million spent in August. And then electric had 172,000 spent, water 35,000, wastewater 927. If you look on that page 3, you see that in the far right, we have about $5.8 million left of budgeted expenses. We will not spend all of that. We've calculated to spend approximately $4 million of that between now and the end of the year. Talked about rolling it over. Not sure what we're going to do at this point because we do have some major electrical needs that we're going to have to address. Another thing, we did pay off of 2018 refunded bonds. So that's 1.2 million in debt service a year. That's paying off. Also gave out another handout. I did print enough copies for me to have this, so I'm gonna go off memory. It's kind of let you know about the power cost adjustment. See there in July, we collected 85,000. In August, we collected 79,000. And in September, we paid back 268,000. And on the right side of that, see how that affected customers with that usage. You know, if you use the 500 kilowatts in July, it costs you an extra $1. For September, you got $4.50. Just wanted to show this to show that we have actually paid more, credited more to customers than we have actually collected. Also at the bottom there, I'll put kind of the average for residential, commercial, and industrial usage per customer. And that's the entire year. One reason that we've may explain this correctly. He may have to step in because I'm still learning it, but one reason that we had credits for the customer came on financial transaction limits. They're called RR. No, don't let me. I don't think I know that acronym, but we did not get credit for those for the first 3 months of the summer. And those came in all at once in October or September. So we credited those to October, which that is transmission. I can't begin to explain it. But we get money for transmission in those lines. There's also, point out for October, you see we have no current customers. Let's see. I didn't have that calculated last week. We anticipate there's some other things that are going to come through that we're going to get money back because of some states and capacity auction that will do some recalculations on that. So we're going to get substantial amount of money. Basically, our capacity cost will be actually projected for the year. It's going to go from 1.4 million to 700.
Why is that?
Yeah, you might have to because that's I haven't done it.
Originally, MISO ran their auction and they ran their auction differently than what their tariff represented. It was found out that it was not done according to their tariff, so they had to recalculate the capacity auction, and they didn't resettle, they just re-showed the dollars as, oh, that this is what it actually should have. We're giving a credit, they're not resettling the whole market of the capacity auction. The capacity auction on average cleared across all 4 months about $6.66 per KW month. Okay. After the I don't want to call it resettlement because they didn't resettle the auction. Went and said they did a math grade calculation and said, hey, this is what we think we should have gotten as a credit, and ran the numbers, and it's coming in at $3. Now, those first few months, we did not charge the customers the full allocation. We were actually pulling some of that back. So we did not actually push through our full cost for the power cost. That's couple months.
I have one more mask. Back on the sheet here. So the total down here of a negative 103,000. That's how much we over received, or you've been paid too much and you're gonna credit that back for this amount of time, or what does that total right there?
Well, so for like July.
Right.
We received 85,000 extra from the customers. Same thing for August. September, we credited 268,000 back to customers.
Right, the net number.
Yes, it's a net number for that 4 month.
Can you remember how I said at the beginning, built into our rates is 57 mil worth of power cost? Our power cost actually was a tad under 57 mils, and we've given money back to the customers in that amount to bring it to what we've actually collected.
You think it would be possible to write up a statement? We could send the customers, because this is a positive thing. And I don't know about the rest, but I've been getting a lot of complaints about utility bills here lately. I think it would be good for customers to understand credit their account because they don't know it. And some of them, all they do is look at the bottom line, and I think it'd be positive for big utilities.
We could write something up because again, in September, it will end. In July, it was 0.2 of a penny where we charged it. August, it was a 0.2 of a penny charge. But then because of the credit that rolled through where miscalculation that they did not include, it was a 0.9 of a penny credit back. So it's almost a penny per kilowatt hour. So when you look at our rates at 0.09 cents, it almost was back down to 8 cents.
Well, I'd like to,
Get
as
with
soon as
Matt.
you get with Matt, put it out by PR and we'll get with Rachel and put it out through the chain of PR too and try to get a message out because this is a good thing.
Question.
I got questions. For you. Got a call today. Get questions about the stormwater, which we changed back in. There's something that we can do in those circumstances.
Whenever the ordinance is passed, if they have a separate water meter, sprinkler meter, we don't charge it, but the 2 electric meters will be charged to stormwater fees.
It's even if like they don't have any water.
As the way the ordinance is written, it's currently, that's one of the things that we try to really figure out every circumstance. And potentially this is one of them, but currently as the way the ordinance is written, if you have two electric meters, you're gonna be charged, two stormwater. And that's one, that's to me, the customers are real quick to say, hey, just give me another meter. I wish they would go and actually run front, but it's cheaper for them. They look at it and go, well, hold it, I don't have an extra cost to run this wire and do the servicing. Eventually upgrade the meter base on their house. They would rather do that, but then they don't want to pay the other fees. So it's, I'm with Steve. Go ahead and run a line from, run a line from the current meter base over to there, and disconnect that completely.
Todd, I do have a question over here. I mentioned an $800 water bill that moms have. Last month it was $300 some dollars, but after looking at the bill, half of that is wastewater. There's not been any business. So
That account that I looked up, I went back, it's been disconnected. We need to talk about that, because I went back, I thought that account had been disconnected. After the meeting, I went back and specifically looked at that, and I was like, oh, that account's been disconnected since. Yeah,
she died January 7th.
that's what I'm saying, the account I looked up has been disconnected, so I don't even know why you're getting the bill. So
Well,
we need to
it,
talk about that.
it has been disconnected, but it's now in my name because the house is still there and
Okay.
it's unoccupied. But there was a time, a couple months ago, that turned the irrigation system on. We had some leaks and I figured that in.
Okay.
But the wastewater was much of the water bill. Now,
I
if you
probably
have,
looked at the account back when your mom was still on it, and I was thinking the account was disconnected. Now that it's gotten turned over into your name, I didn't understand that it's in your name.
Right,
I was
right.
like, oh, it's been disconnected.
well,
I was just thinking of it as an issue from last year, actually. So I will go back and we will investigate. I can look at it. Okay,
so it's under my name now, and it was switched over about the time that the large water bill came in.
I'll
And
look at it. That's no problem. I just, again, I did go back and look at it. I thought, that's disconnected.
yes, it has.
So that's my fault.
Okay, that's probably,
Todd, on that note too, and I'm gonna be phone calls about the what obviously we've been telling the folks and talk to the utilities. What do you guys do on your end as far as?
So we want to go to that next topic?
Might as well. That is next.
All right, if you could, I took a picture of. Bought the meter I took a picture of, okay, this is a brand new meter, okay? And on that meter, if you'll look, it actually, when you lift the lid, that is what activates the meter, okay? The meter itself is down here. The way it communicates to us is through the wire up, and we actually have another antenna that we attach to this. That attached to this, and that's how we get our signal, or our readings back to us, okay? If you look on this meter, you'll see there's lines above the numbers, okay? And there's a line above the number that is in the, we'll call it place value spot, tenths column spot, okay? Those numbers are being reported from this meter to the census, which this is a census meter software, okay? That software then communicates with our billing system. And in our billing system, we have to say, hey, what are you, how, they communicate. You have to put in our software that, hey, the value all the way to the right is the tenths, okay? Spot. And if it gets put in as it's a gallon, what ends up happening is it thinks that number all the way to the right is a gallon instead of a tenth of a gallon. And we normally drop that. We have had a few of those happen. We had 4 of them happen when we first did the transition. And we have found some here recently that for some reason got converted by a previous manager. For some reason they put them back, and we are making those right. Okay, we are working with those customers and saying, hold it, we have overbilled you, and we are going back and correcting them and actually giving them a credit and cutting them a check. Okay. What you're seeing though, mainly is where people are complaining about their usage. You can go to that first slide. Okay. On this slide, you'll see towards the bottom, you'll see 3 hours right in there that there's some, most of the time, the usage is 0, it's real low, around 10, and then it goes way up. People call us and go, hey, why did I use this much water? Well, I can see your hourly usage, okay? I see, oh, we had this specific instance where the water went used 160 gallons in 1 hour. They're like, well, I don't know what happened. This one, I know exactly what happened. Why? Because it's actually my account. And I can tell you what happened. I went to mow my backyard. And after mowing my backyard, I got a new tree. And I put a hose down from it, and I turned that nozzle about that nozzle about that much. And then I went and mowed my front garden. There in the front. And then I went inside and sat down. And then after a little while, my wife goes, hey, I hear water running. Uh-oh, I'll run. And I turned the water off. I'm talking about 1/8 of a turn, 160 gallons. You have good pressure in our city. That's good for firefighting and other purposes. Barely turn that water, you have a little creek. It's a lot of water. Okay. Go to the next one. This one I got from a customer that also gave me permission. You can see certain hours where it's 500 gallons, 600 gallons in an hour. I can tell you, this is one of my commissioners. He manually turns on his sprinkler system, and that's how much water goes through that sprinkler system. Okay. Go to the next one. This is a customer who will call us and say, hey, why do I have so much usage? I don't know the answer to those questions, but I can see that he has continuous usage every hour. Well, you don't tell them they have a leak. We tell them they have continuous usage through their meter. Because I do not know what's going on in their house. I don't know if it's something out of the inside. That's what I see. Okay. Now, what the customers you see are talking about complaining is they're like, I can't get my meter to come on. Okay. This meter is out in the system. Okay. And previously, when we first got inspected, but somehow this port got set out. We're not sure about it. It's got set. People think, well, hold it, my lid's gone. But if you look, the display is on. But after a little while, that display will go away. The meter is small enough to go, hold it, I need to shut down and save battery. Okay. And it will shut down. That doesn't mean the meter's not working. That just means that the display is not coming on. And actually, most of our guys, they have lids like this, they'll put it on there and then remove it and it'll light the display up. Okay. Actually, one of the customers we went out and changed, there's a little magnet in this spot. Okay. And we changed the magnet out and then it started displaying. They're like, oh. And we cannot explain what we're seeing, but the meter appears to be working completely fine, doing everything it needs to do. So don't replace it. Okay. I had another customer last week call me, and he was complaining, my bill is 3 times higher than it was last year. I went and looked at his account. I said, yes, sir, you're right. This last year, your meter was dead. The battery actually died in the register. What happens when that battery dies in the register? It stops reading completely. And we were billing him from 0 usage. Well, we went out to change the meter, and now we're charging him for his usage. He's like, oh. I mean, I can't explain what is happening in the house, just like an electric meter. I can see that hourly usage, but I don't know what's happening in that house. If somebody's turning the thermostat down to 68 or 65, I don't know what they're doing to explain what's happening, but I can have the data to be able to prove it. I'll say this, if we make a mistake, we can show we make a mistake. I will stand behind it and I will make it right. If I cannot prove it, or I am pretty sure that this meter is correct, I will stand there and say, nope, it's right. You owe the money. I can tell you, as you know, we had one customer call the news. That's fine. The news reached out to me. I did not get back to them until 3:30. I did give comments. One of their comments was, oh, we were aware of it. That's actually not what I had fully said. We were aware of the Attorney General and we had responded and we have been found with no issues. So we have had folks sending those in, but we have been cleared of any issues or any wrongdoing. We're following our procedures. We're providing documentation. And actually, Jimmy is doing most of the feedback, and as an auditor, it's very detailed. So again, I can't understand or explain what's happening. All I can say is, here's the tool that you have at your discretion to help. I can tell you, we have one customer that it does look like their electrical usage is higher than what it was last year. I can't tell, and they're an all electric customer. I'm gonna say this from my experience. I would go and look at their heat pump. But as Bent Utilities, I can't tell them, hey, you need to go get somebody to go look at your heat. Because if they call them and they go out there and they look at it and they find nothing wrong, they're gonna call me and say, hey, I called this person out here and they didn't find nothing wrong. We need the reimbursement for this bill. That's where we get in a situation where I want to help the customer, but then I open myself for potential. I mean, the one lady that came here that night who worked out on 7, I know the chief is all electric. Done heat pumps. If the emergency electric gets turns on the strip, it'll be trying to cool and be heating at the same time. And they will burn some electricity. Went into a very long discussion there, and y'all didn't say.
No, I think it was more because I think we've all gotten feedback from various constituents, either directly or seen it through social media. One thing that I think we should all take comfort in, and our citizens as well, were 2 things actually. One, it does seem that you have found a systematic issue and you've addressed it. And you are making restitution and corrections, probably a better word than restitution, to those individual consumers as those have been uncovered. And we should be happy about that. The other thing is, anyone that does have an issue should contact you guys directly, because you will do the type of analysis displayed today for each of those consumers to help them understand where they're using. Correct?
Correct. And that's what we try to do, is look at, because like the one goes, well, all my neighbors, I said, I'm gonna look at your bill. If your neighbors want to talk to me, then they need to call me. I'm not gonna talk to about all your others. I can look at only your bill. This is what I see on your. That's all I can do. It's that's somebody else's bill and I can't do that. And again, I can tell you that I think it was a total of about 4 that we found after doing trying to do a full audit. After we found out for some reason, had gotten changed back. That's all we found. So all these, I can tell you, there's been more people on social media than 4. So,
Any other questions?
I just want to say I appreciate you and your efforts to make things right. That's what Ben's all about. Want to do what's right by people. You're in Todd and his staff have done a great job of doing that. I asked him to make this presentation because I felt like especially for you as a council member, because you're the ones getting calls. And I think that we all need to send the same message. Look, call utilities and then they'll walk you through. And that way it's a positive thing. I know there's a lot of stuff on social media that's negative, but the bottom line is utilities is doing a great job and doing what they can to help. So we need to send that message out.
I just want to add, we're trying to be more proactive in that too, because the system does have high usage of those. I'm in that office now, I hear them making the phone calls. They called several people today to say, look, you have unusually high usage on your sprinkler account. I can't tell you that you have a leak, but something's going on with it.
if the system, as he said, it looks at it and says, hey, they've had continuous flow for over a long period, it gives us their account. So we started, I think about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they literally started calling. What's frustrating about that is some of them, we've called them, they've done nothing, they're still running, and we know what we've done and stuff. So, you know,
We'll say this, I talked to a gentleman. He said he called and he told him, someone told him, you must have a problem. So he got someone out there. He did. He had a leak between the meter and the house. He got it fixed and it was still high. Come to find out the meter was leaking. Went out immediately and fixed it and made that financial adjustment to his bill. So they do everything they can to make it right.
Anything else you guys want to add? Thank you. Thanks very much. Next thing on our agenda tonight is the Segra Pole Attachment Agreement. Recall earlier this year, we approved resolution 21 of 2025. This was a pole attachment agreement with Unite Private Networks, doing business as Segra. There was a clerical error that requires a revision. They are approved with 100. They have been approved with 123 pole attachments. The correction has been reviewed by both Segra and Benton Utilities. Ms. Spicer, anything you want to add there? Comments or questions? Anyone? This is just a clarification in the previous resolution.
And which number was it that changed?
Was the number of poles, if I recall correctly.
That very first number is the initial number of attachments. Was that?
That's what it is now.
Correct.
Should.
The
Oh,
previous one, it's a
This may be a dumb question, but what is it they are attaching?
It's five.
It's not a new fiber company, is it, that's gonna benefit everybody's neighborhood?
They're attaching it to. They're attaching it to poles.
Okay.
Any other questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Motion in second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next thing on the agenda is the Benton Historic District Mission Training. The mayor and CFO request to apply for grant funding through the Division of Arkansas Heritage, secure funding for training for a historic district commission. Commissioner is not to exceed $3,000. This is something new that we're looking at applying for. You understand it?
That's
It's something we could do potentially every
Well, and they have grant money out there that has to be applied for by November of every year. We hadn't done this, according to the heritage thing since 2008. So I thought it was time to send one commissioner there to let them find out what we can do, keep our historic downtown. It's not to exceed, it's all reimbursed.
Question. Oh. Why do we get the money for them to look on the telephone pole and? Oh,
I'm sorry, can you state that? I couldn't hear you.
yes. The companies pay city and fund money to attach to telephone. Why do we get the money when the villages on the pole?
Why does the city get it versus utility?
Yeah, why does the general fund get it? Village?
Yeah,
It's what the council passed. That's why. That's to answer your question.
back to, the Historic District Commission Training Grant application. Any comments or questions on that? On the one?
So our historic district,
Well, for instance, one of the buildings that's painted, it's historic. Might didn't be here, but. About it at the time. So. One of the words, how to keep the buildings, on it, historic bridges. That. Not supposed to be any billboards on the side of buildings, stuff like that. And there's a map that's included with the next one. Give the map. Give you the map.
Any other questions regarding the grant? Entertain a motion to approve. Second. Motion and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, is also related to the Historic District Mission. Mayor and CFO request to apply for another grant funding through the Division of Arkansas Heritage to secure funding to hire a firm to complete an Arkansas resources survey within the historic downtown district. You want to give further detail?
Yes, and what they'll do is they'll come into our town and survey all the buildings, they'll talk to building owners. For instance, the mural on the side of John Young Building. It's coming to fall. It's falling off. So we're gonna have something that we verbally. Recommendations. Make some recommendations on what needs to be done. But it's an outside company that comes in and does the survey, and then they give us the results and recommendations. And then once we get that, we get to apply for another grant to come in and do some of this historic restoration. Does that make, and all of this is free money. Yes. Yes.
Okay, any questions? Not entertain a motion to approve. So moved. Second. Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is surplus of assets for the fire department. Fire department request to declare a 2007 Ford Crown Victoria surplus and be able to sell it. Car has 107,825 miles. And it's beyond its safe capacity. Chief, anything we need to add to that? Pretty straightforward. Comments or questions? It's kind of a normal course of business. Not entertain a motion to approve. Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is the acceptance of the animal kennel bids. In July, we went out to formal bid for cat, dog kennels for the new animal shelter. After opening bids, we revised the bid specs, and issued a new scope in September. The low bid received was with MWI Animal Health. Animal Services Director Parsons is here with us and will give us much more detail on this. But I know he's been in negotiations with MWI to revise the scope even more. And have they arrived at a new price to this point? Okay, can you share that?
Thought it was 587. These are the ones that have been spec'd out by architects, so they're concreted in and permanent.
I mean, dogs. So after your negotiation, the new price, the new bid is $587 now. Questions? Entertain a motion, please.
So move, second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item. Then we move. Next thing is the 2026 city of Benton budgets. Ms. Spicer, you want to talk about that a little bit? Mayor?
Well, I will tell you this, it's been rough. And because our finances have not come in like we anticipated they were, we kept the budget completely flat. The bottom line number is the same for next year as this year. We were able to go through the budget and make some cuts here and there so that we can give the employees next year, if you approve the budget, a 2.5% raise. By cutting a little bit here and cutting a little bit there. The wages are costing us about, if I remember right, Andy, $200,000 for everyone, that's in the system. So bottom line, it's exactly the same as we passed. Use it to next year and then more money comes in, we'll make adjustments and do some trims.
So you have in front of you your budget book, you will, now in the next review and prepare all your questions in November. Last thing that we need to discuss tonight is financial.
Yes, sir. If everybody will open up their financial book. You'll notice that in your left-hand pocket, there is the September sales tax. We had a really good month for sales tax. It was 5.88% increase, September of 25 over September of 24. Year to date, that puts us in the positive 0.5%. Moving in that direction. If you will open up your general fund tab, you'll see we had another good month of we were $336,069.03 in the black month. That puts us year to date $520,021.45. For the month of September, there was not a animal control building expense all during that time period. So you'll see when October. Other than that, everything seems to be going along swimmingly. Please review this. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Any questions or comments? You want to- Building up.